It is Tuesday, August 20th, 2024. This is another edition of Baseball Today, presented to you by 5 Hour Energy. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan, intern Tommy along for the ride as well. We're going to start it off with a pair of tips of the cap. First of all, north of the border, Plouffe, you always hear that how nice Canadians are. Well, once again, that rang true on my – oh, don't give me the so-so. How nice is this? Home run ball, woman gives it to this little kid. Look at that. Huh?
I mean, that's nice right there. That hug that's like pure, genuine joy. I love that. This is beautiful stuff at a ballpark, Chris.
Yeah, I love it. Well, you only gave me the on the Canadians are so nice thing.
I haven't really heard the Canadians are so nice thing. They apologize a lot, but other than that, I've met some nice ones, and I've met some guys. I'm like, all right, bro, just relax a little bit.
Of course. Well, I mean, Justin Morneau.
He can be nice. Morny, I love you so much, but there are times where he can be a little ornery, not towards me necessarily. We're good buddies.
Okay. All right. Interesting. There is one other tip of the cap, and that would be to our intern, Tommy Young, who is finishing up his John Boy Media internship. There he is. He's the better looking one without the beard there. He has done a phenomenal job. He is headed back for his junior year at the University of Southern California. We're going to miss him dearly. He is a sharp kid. I've told everybody at our company that he is going to go do big, big things. Now, you hear that about a lot of interns. This one is actually like legit. He might end up directing major movies. So we can say we knew him when, and he was helping us formulate questions on an odd Tuesday in August.
He's always like been on time. You sign on and he's here. And then the thing is, Chris, I met him in LA at our live show, and I was like, this guy, dude, he's got it all. Tall, handsome, puts good work together for us. So yes, we will miss Tommy big time.
We will.
Have fun. I see. Hey, don't be afraid to invite, Uncle Trev and Grandpa Chris down to Fraternity Row every once in a while.
No, man. Oh, I don't want any part of that.
You don't want that?
No.
Yeah, probably me neither.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, you've passed the age. You've passed the age.
I'm gone, dude.
You've gone from cool, like older brother status to creeper uncle if you show up on campus.
100%.
Yeah, just want to let you know. Yeah. All right, we're going to start it out with our baseball talk out east, where a wild card contender hopes to get on a run after this home run.
A walk tonight. Alvarez swings and he drives one deep left center field. Mullins looks up and it's out of here. Alvarez swings 3-0 and he wins the game for New York with a walk-off home run in the bottom of the ninth.
Awesome finish up there in Queens. Orioles came back from a 3-0 deficit, and then, I mean, few dudes are celebrating harder than this kid, by the way.
I mean, I felt like it was kind of like he needed that. He'd been struggling a little bit. Obviously, the walk-off homer helps in front of the home crowd. Look at this. Look at the lighting. How cool is it to be a Major League Baseball player in today's game? It's insane. Like, the camera work is awesome here. But, I mean, look, you get a 3-0 pitch, and you decide to swing at it, which I'm always in favor of 3-0 pitches. In our game last night, Twins, Padres, there was like 3 dudes with a 3-0 count. I was like, you need to swing right here. And they took cookies right down the middle. Alvarez said, no, I'm not taking this cookie. I know it's a fastball. I'm going to be on time. He absolutely demolished. I think that was one of the cooler swings we've seen this year, Chris.
Yeah, you mentioned that he's been struggling, 167 since the All-Star break. Maybe this will unlock him. More importantly, the Mets, they climbed back into the wild card standings. Now they've fallen back a bit, trying to stay. They're only 1.5 out of the third wild card spot, which currently is held by the Atlanta Braves, who got some terrible news on Monday. Austin Riley broke a bone in his hand. He's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks, which is basically the rest of the regular season. So when you compound that with all of the issues that Atlanta has had, they've played pretty good ball over the last week and a half, but for most of the season, offensively, they've really struggled. And then you add in that the Mets might start getting hot. Do you give New York the advantage over Atlanta for a wild card spot?
It's tough. I kind of go back and forth on this. I think overall, I like the offense better for the Mets. I think that's pretty apparent. The length of the lineup is great, especially if Alvarez gets going here. Losing Austin Riley, losing Acuna really hurts the Braves there. I still like Atlanta's pitching more. I also like Atlanta's schedule more down the way. So I think it really is going to come down to that second to last series of the year. I believe the season series is 5-5 between these two teams. If I had to pick one, for some reason, I'm still leaning Braves here, and I think people are going to call me a Mets hater. I don't know, man. It's very difficult for me to pick a team right now because there are a few factors working in either side's favor. I will say this: the Braves have been largely like a 500 club since May, I believe. They had a huge April, and they've kind of just been 500. So maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe I have a little bit of just like Braves-itis where I just expect them to do something. Maybe it's the schedule, but in my mind, I still lean them. But I do believe, Chris, I do really believe that it's going to come down to that second to last series.
So let's start out with the good for the Atlanta Braves in a time where, once again, they're like, man, we got another big gun out. First Strider, then Acuna, and now Riley. Here's the good news. Michael Harris is back. And I do think that if, he's a guy that can turn it on in a second. He's got so much talent. We've seen him do it before. Possibly that happens. Sean Murphy, who missed months with an injury, has an OPS of 800 this month. So that is a good sign as well. Like, they need more guys than just Marcell Ozuna to pick it up. They only have one position player that's in their lineup right now with a WAR higher than 2. Like, they need dudes that have done it in the past to say, hey, you know what? Screw it. I don't care who's here and who's not. We got to get this done. But I think the way they're going to start winning, 3-1, 3-2, and that's tough go. But their starting rotation can do it. They've got the NL Cy Young favorite, Chris Sale. We know that Max Fried can dominate when he needs to. Obviously, Charlie Morton. Ronaldo Lopez is returning tonight, so hopefully his health is good. That's a big series against the Philadelphia Phillies. And then Schwellenbach has kind of found his footing here at the back end of the rotation where they have just rotated. It feels like a ton of guys back there. I will give the edge to the Atlanta Braves. I do want to see it be like no more than 2 games heading into that, as we like to say around here, because we're SAT word interested people. Penultimate series of the regular season. Yeah. What's the matter?
You wore the Mets hat and then you picked the Braves.
Because of I loved the reaction of Alvarez after the home run.
Me too, man. Me too.
Yeah, I loved it. I was big on that. And there was one other thing I loved during the game. The Mets always, at least once a year, do their kid caster thing where a kid gets to join them in the booth and do the call. I think the kid's name is Kingston. Let's hear how he called a Mets run.
Love
that. It's Rogers' 65th pitch of the day. It is smacked through the hole, a base hit. That'll score Alonso, and Alvarez pulls in at second with an RBI single for Tyrone Taylor. The Mets now lead 3-0 against the Baltimore Orioles in the 4th.
You're hired.
Well, that's incredible right there. Kingston, first of all, shout out Kingston. Shout out our guy Ollie, who his son is named Kingston. So kind of brings back some memories right there. But that was, tip of the cap to that kid.
He was awesome. It was funny because I was listening to the clip to see, what to put in the show and stuff. And Michelle was kind of listening in the background. She goes, well, that person's good, but their voice sounds a little high. I was like, that's a kid, honey. Like he's like 10. She's like, what? And I explained to her what the Mets do. And she was like, that kid's awesome. So that was really cool. Awesome. Loved every bit of it. Mets, Braves, just stay close so we can really enjoy that second to last or penultimate series, please. Padres Twins. Let's talk about the game that you called last night. Listened to a bit of it. Sent you some video that the Rose family was watching and enjoying. We wanted more of you, but that's fine. Jackson Merrill continues to impress in his age 21 season. A 3-run double to kind of push the Padres out to a lead that they never relinquished. Does he have a shot at the NL Rookie of the Year, or is Paul Skeens and the hype train too much to overcome?
So I kind of did this on the broadcast last night. Obviously, he had a great at-bat there against Zebby Matthews, 3-run double, 0-2 pitch, changeup. And I said, this is why he's the front runner for National League Rookie of the Year. And I hadn't looked at the odds. I didn't know Paul Skeens was a favorite right now. And to be honest with you, I don't think he should be. And it's really no fault. Make sure, hey, whoever the social media person is going to clip this, make sure you put this part in. By no fault of Paul Skeens. Clearly what he's done is exceptional. I believe it's 12 of 16 starts to start his career have been quality. He is one of the best pitchers in baseball already. Like, the reason I say Jackson Merrill, I think, should be the front runner is he's been here all year long. And again, clip this part. That's not Paul Skeens' fault. The Pirates royally messed that up, Chris. There's a rule now where if a guy is up with your team and he wins Rookie of the Year, you get a draft pick. Well, because they didn't have him at the beginning of the year, they're not going to get that draft pick. And there was no reason, you and I talked about this at the beginning of the year, there was absolutely no reason that Paul Skeens should not have started the year with the Pirates. There's not one freaking reason. So I'm giving it to Jackson Merrill because, number one, he was up all year. He's had an incredible year. He leads rookies in pretty much every single category offensively. He learned a new position at the big league level. And, oh, yeah, he's doing it on one of the best teams in all of baseball. The Padres are 21-5 since the All-Star break. This is a team that's going to the playoffs. They look the part of a World Series contender for sure. And Jackson Merrill, they would not be here if it wasn't for him. So in my mind, he is the front runner. He's right behind Paul Skeens in the odds. I just didn't know. I actually said last night I thought it was Merrill, Shota, and then Paul Skeens, but I guess the 16 starts have been enough for people to put him at the front.
Okay, so Jackson Merrill should be the front runner for the MVP, but he will not be because of what I mentioned earlier, and that is the hype train. And once again, this is not a shot at Paul Skeens. I've been the conductor of the Paul Skeens hype train all year based on what he has done. In 14 of his 16 starts, he has at least worked into the 6th inning. And in a time where we really baby guys when they come up to the major leagues, that is astounding. But here's what I worry about, that the Pirates have fallen so far out that they're going to shut him down.
Don't say it, dude. We talked about this and people jumped down my throat. I think I talked about this with Jake, actually. I said, hey, like, Pirates might shut Paul Skeens down. People were so mad at me for saying this.
Hold on. That's not your call or my call. We just think what the blueprint has been in years past. Now, at some point, I would say mid-September on, I would be okay with it. They're going to be so far out of there. They already are. I mean, it's been abysmal what has happened to them since the trade deadline. So, but let's talk more about Jackson Merrill. I don't want to talk about Paul Skeens being shut down. I think that's for another day. Jackson Merrill, we're talking about a guy who's almost hitting 300, an OPS of over 800. He turned 21 in April. Okay, so he is a young 21. He had never played center field until spring training, ever. He was a shortstop. And we know what the Padres like to do. They like to, it's like a softball team. We're going to run 9 shortstops out there. We'll just put you at other positions. And most importantly, he has been the one constant in a lineup of revolving stars. We haven't seen Tatis in months. Xander Bogaerts missed months. Manny Machado missed a little bit of time, but he really hasn't been the Manny Machado that we've grown to know and love. So Michael King went as far to say that Jackson Merrill has essentially been our MVP. And when you've got a guy who's saying that that's a part of the team that isn't a media member, that's okay in my book. I'm going to sign up.
Agreed. No, he's completely transformed. He's got the big pop and chain now. He's got all the confidence in the world, and he should, because he's had a great season. And I didn't know how big he was, Chris. I got up next to him yesterday. He's a big boot. He's a big dude.
One other stat for him, he has 4 home runs in the 9th inning or later that has either tied the game or put the Padres ahead. When you think about it, first of all, just to have the opportunity to do that is kind of insane. But then to just be able to get up there and deliver, right? 9th inning at bats when you're down a run are a little bit different than an at bat in the 5th inning, aren't they?
Absolutely. I think he had like 3 of those in a 2-series span, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He went nuts. So
good for him.
Yeah. But listen, I would love for Skeens to end up to get 21 starts and make this a real tough vote on everybody. But I just have a bad feeling that it's going to go a different direction. We'll see. You know what you need what all of us actually need more of? That'd be to get off our ass. And with bold flavors and refreshing citrus kick, Mountain Dew is going to get you off your ass and have you feeling like you're on an actual mountain. A mountain where the weather is always perfect, where your friends are ready to hang and a day of epic proportions awaits. That's right. You could be doing anything outside. You could be fishing. You could be climbing a mountain. You could be swimming in the ocean. You could be playing pickup football, throwing a frisbee, longest throw contest. Heck, you could even set up your screen outside and play video games or do kickball or pickleball or whatever you want, wiffle ball, blitzball outside. You name it, you do it. And so you need a little bit of extra zest in your life just to get you going and increase the competition and have a great, great time. Well, that mountain is calling. You should answer. Grab your friends, grab an ice cold Mountain Dew wherever refreshing beverages are sold. I have got 3 words for you that you should live your life by. Do the do. That's right. You'll feel better, and your life is going to be great. Almost lost my headphones on that one. I got so damn excited.
You need to have like some sort of voice for that one too. That's figured out.
Do the do.
There you go. Just really get in there. That's inflection, right? That's what they call that. Another SAT word.
Yeah, I got to get in there. Astros and Red Sox had a great series opener. Really, really fun. In fact, the Astros did not lead the entire game until the last pitch.
Yiner hits one high. Ball game over.
That was a great call by Todd Callis. Got to give him credit. That was great. Really fun. Loved it. Way to let it eat, brother. Very nice for Diaz, who got called out earlier in this game. Did you see what happened to him?
I did not.
He called consecutive timeouts, which is a no-no. So he got called out on strikes and said, see ya.
Oh, okay.
So, and it was critical because I think the tying run was on base. And so he probably felt bad, and this was a nice little redemption for him. The bigger question is, Astros are starting to run away from the Mariners. We got that part of the equation. Are we now looking at the team to beat in the American League?
Again, Jake and I said this. We said he called the New York Yankees, said they're more like the Dallas Cowboys than the Yankees of old. Yeah, he went in on his Yanks. Like it's hard to get away from that, Chris, just because of what we've seen them do and how we've seen them turn their season around. I believe don't they have the best record in the AL since May? It's something like that. They're starting to get it going. Bregman, don't look at what he's done over the last month because it's scary. It's over a 900 OPS. We know what they can do offensively. Kyle Tucker, I believe, has started to hit batting practice, so you know he's going to be back when October comes. And then, they've gotten this starting pitching kind of locked in now. The back end, the bullpen is kind of humming, especially Hader when he's in save situations. He's great. I believe they just put Ryan Presley on the IL. But they kind of have it all, Chris. So if they're not the team to beat, they're one of the teams to beat. In my mind, and what I said on Talking Baseball was the one team you don't want to see in October is the Astros.
Mm-hmm.
There's just too much experience. There's too much, like they're going to feel at home in the postseason. That's just what they do. So if I had to pick one AL team right now to represent, I guess that's what you're asking. Who's going to make it? Who's going to win the pennant?
Sure. Go for it.
I would put my odds on them. I really, really would, Chris. I think it's them. And then it's probably, I guess I'll say the Orioles.
Listen, I would say it's the Houston Astros, but check back with me in 7 to 10 days. So I almost feel like a doctor. Like, okay, if it doesn't
tough right now, yeah.
Because and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but the juggling that's going on in both leagues is insane, and it's made it fun, but a real difficult time for people like us to get a grasp on what we think. So we're kind of throwing at a dartboard right now, and I would put the Astros as the team I would aim for on the dartboard. Justin Verlander is returning to action, we believe, on Wednesday, which will be helpful. Luis Garcia out for the rest of the year, so don't expect him back. They thought that they were going to have him, I believe, right? So that's not happening. The bullpen, Hader, unscored upon in August. Yordan Alvarez, Alex Bregman, both with an OPS over a $1. Jeremy Pena is having his best OPS month of the year. He's hit very well throughout the entire season, but now he's starting to drive the ball a little bit more, extra base hits. I expect that three-headed monster, if they can get Presley right, because Abreu's been unbelievable this year. His strikeout numbers out of the bullpen have been great. And like we said, you feel pretty good with Josh Hader at the back end.
Don't forget Taylor Scott back there, South African king. Yeah. I mean, they got it all, Chris.
Yeah, they really do. They've won 11 of 12. They feel like they're getting healthier instead of not when other teams have players dropping like flies. So, yes, I would make them the favorite right now. And I think that that's going to get a lot of people riled up yet again, because we thought we were putting dirt on them back in like early May. And we thought, some of us did. I did. I
mean, it was too early on in the season. You just knew that they were going to, I mean, the odds were that they were going to get right and at least make a run at it. And they've clearly done much more than that. How about Hunter Brown?
Great.
With a 2.36 over his last 7 starts. He had one clunker there in against my Twins where he had 7 runs, but he's figured it out. So the starting pitching is there. Arrigetti's had a couple big strikeout games. He's still kind of tinkering around and doing things, but Framber's been excellent. Like, they are just, I think they are the team to beat, Chris.
Yeah. Hey, I've told you this. I'm going to tell you again. The John Boy Media and iHeart Podcasts have teamed up. So if you haven't heard this, you're probably thinking, Rose, what are you talking about? Well, we mean that 2 of your favorite John Boy Media shows can now be found over at the Dan Patrick Show, in addition to where you already catch them. That's right. Wake and Jake and Jimmy's Three Things have joined the iHeart Podcast and Dan Patrick Show family. And the best part, they'll still continue to be the same shows that you know and love. If you can't tell, we're obviously really excited about this. Number one, we cannot do cool stuff like this if it was not for your support. You have a ton of choices, so the fact that you are backing us here at John Boy Media and a part of the Dan Patrick Show family is awesome, so we want to thank you very much. And also, it is great. Dan Patrick has been a legend in this industry for 4 decades, and the fact that we're falling under his umbrella is big time for us. It is great. Thank you for joining the rocket ship on our rise. All right, Philadelphia Phillies. They go into Tuesday, best record in baseball, 73-51. But catch this. There are 9 other teams sprinkled throughout the American and National Leagues within 4 games of the Phillies. So take your flag, plant it right now. Who will finish the regular season with the best record in baseball?
Again, I think we're talking about a league right now that I don't think there's one team that's really separating themselves. But if I had to pick a team, I think I'm going to go the Los Angeles Dodgers. I mean, their lineup is getting healthy. They get Max Muncy back. They shut out the Mariners. The Mariners have scored like 4 runs in the last 4 games combined, I think. So that's tough for them. So right now, I was talking about this last night with David Popkins, the hitting coach of the Twins. Like, he used to be with the Dodgers. Their lineup is so long, with Muncy back, with Gavin Lux doing what he's doing. They have like 7 all-star type hitters in that lineup. The pitching will figure itself out. They have enough bodies there. If they, Glasnow will be back. He sounds like it's nothing serious with him, so he'll be back. And all of a sudden Kopech is figured it out in the back end of their bullpen. He's closing games for them now. They have options at the back end of the pen. I just think with those guys at the top of the lineup, the length that they've been able to find, especially like I said, with Gavin Lux, he's performing at an all-star level. I think that they'll end the season with the best record, Chris.
Okay. I am not just saying this because it is the final day on the show of our fantastic intern, Tommy Young, who, of course, resides in Milwaukee,
I can't wait to hear you explain this one. Oh, okay.
So much time this year I have spent looking at Milwaukee and going, how the heck are you doing this? You traded away your ace. Craig Counsell left. You don't have enough hitting. There's too many young guys. Yelich is out for the year with a bad back. Like, there has been every road bump put in the path of Pat Murphy and his Brewers. But you know what? They're going to finish with 94, 95 wins, and they're going to end up being the regular season champs. I don't know what that means. It's not like you get the President's Cup like they do in the NHL, and you're like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. It doesn't mean anything because it's all about the playoffs, which it should be. But I think that we should take some time and applaud the Milwaukee Brewers. They've got 12 series left. 6 against winning teams, 6 against losing teams. And that starts tonight against the St. Louis Cardinals, a team that they have utterly dominated this year, winning 6 of 7 matchups so far. So I do believe in them. I don't know exactly how they get it done. They have tremendous athleticism on their team, which I do believe helps them. So in times where they do kind of scuffle a little bit offensively, if they can start moving those legs and picking up those extra 90 feet, that makes a huge difference. We just talked about what they did in Cleveland against Cleveland. They swept them in a series where they only scored 9 runs, but they were able to scratch enough across, and their bullpen has been fantastic, best in the National League, and that was without Devin Williams for a lot of it this year. So go Brujas. Enjoy that time. Tommy, that is your parting gift.
I mean, I love it. Hey, I'm not against the Brewers coming on and just running it at the end of the season. I sort of think the Dodgers are inevitable.
Yeah, could be. Could be. We got one more thing coming your way, but first, a word from Trevor Plouffe.
Yes, our John Boy Media DFS League rolls on this week and all season long on DraftKings. This is a league that you can play against our content creators. You can play against Joe's and Jolly and Jake and Shelfie, and I believe even like Jack and Zoe of We Got Ice. Those guys are a lot of fun. You can make your lineup and compete against all the guys I just mentioned every Tuesday night of the baseball season for a shot at cash prizes, and you can win some additional prizes from us at John Boy Media. The top finisher each month, Chris, will win $100 in SeatGeek credit for John Boy Media, and the top leaderboard finisher at the end of the regular season will win 2 World Series tickets. So if you want to get in on the action, it's not too late to sign up for tonight's contest. All you got to do is click the link in the description to join the league and then enter the contest on the league homepage. Go give Jake and Joe some work. Show us what you can do. Show us that you know ball, the DraftKings DFS League.
Finally, in Los Angeles last night, Gavin Stone, a career high in strikeouts. The return of Max Muncy for the first time in months. He went deep as well. Dodgers took care of the Mariners, but I really thought there was a super nice moment before the game. Justin Turner, of course, traded from Toronto to Seattle, and as the schedule aligned, he finally made his return to Dodger Stadium for the first time since leaving the franchise after the 2022 season. There's Justin with his lovely wife, Court, and their newborn Bo, who looks just like JT. Dodgers, classy, $10,000 donation to the Justin Turner Foundation, which has done so much great work here in Southern California. And then JT had a chance to step to the mic.
I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, Courtney, Bo, thank you guys so much for 9 of the most incredible years of my life.
Really touching. That was the first thing I mentioned to him when he got traded. I said, I looked at the schedule, and because he had played with Boston, but the Dodgers went to Fenway last year, and in Toronto, the Dodgers went north of the border. So he's 39 years old. Who knows if he's going to keep playing? I thought it was great that he got his shining moment because he meant as much to this franchise over the last 30 years as anyone.
I mean, he was like in the thick of that entire run that they're still on. He was at the beginning of that. And I always talk about JT, you're wearing a Mets hat. I remember him when he was playing for the Mets and for the Orioles. He was just a different guy, and they challenged him. They said, the Mets did. They said, hey, we need you to hit for power. He completely reinvented himself as a hitter and became one of – everyone always talks about Josh Donaldson and the swing revolution and all these things, but Justin Turner was at the forefront of that as well. And you're right. He's a Dodger legend. He really is. And for a guy that grew up in Southern California, him and I both, I think it's a very, very cool story to go there and then reestablish yourself and become the player that he became. So I'm a big JT fan.
Yeah, and I think more than that, every team, or you would hope every team, has a guy like him. That is a guy who the community, organizational people can always go to. Hey, Justin, we need somebody from the team to show up here. He would never turn them down. And that is, he does as much for his community as any baseball. I mean, he received the Clemente Award, and that is as telling as you get. I've told you about this. I worked with LaDainian Tomlinson and Kurt Warner at the NFL Network. They both have won league MVP honors. They said the thing they cherish the most is the Walter Payton Man of the Year, because at the end of the day, that's who you want to be. You want to be that guy that uses that platform. And Justin Turner has done it as well as anybody. And this is his home, and he has delivered on the field and off of it. And I just thought it was great. Really a great moment for him. Very, very cool.
Awesome.
I appreciate you getting up early on a busy day for you. You're doing a game. This was not easy. I love you for that. Thank you very much.
And I was out late last night.
That away, brother. I can hear it. But that's hey, that's what you are.
I got
You're
friends
still
in town.
I hear you, man.
I got a great story. I know you got to leave. We'll talk about it another time.
Okay, yeah, save it for me. I do want to hear it though. Katie Woo will be filling in for me from The Athletic on Wednesday, which is awesome. And then I will see you again later this week. But make sure you tune into Baseball Today because she does a phenomenal job. For our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, our amazing intern, Tommy Young, you crushed it this summer, kid. I'm not going to say fight on because I'm not the biggest USC fan in the world, but we wish you luck this year. That is the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. Katie and Trevor, we'll see you Wednesday here on Baseball Today, presented to you by 5 Hour Energy.